Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Today, I want to share some of the recent research finding on North American merchant needs and opportunity for developers. So here's today's agenda. I will have a brief introduction about my background and my role at Shopify. And then we will talk about how merchants use our app and what's the key drivers behind the app decision. And then we will share some of the opportunities for developers from global opportunity or opportunity in North America. And then we will at last talk about how to find opportunities on your own. So my name is Huilin. So you probably can tell from name. I was born in China, grew up there, and moved to US. Went to school there and worked there. I've been in US for more than a decade now. So it's my first time talking to a developer audience. So I hope my talk can be useful for you. It may be different from what you expect, but if it's not helpful, bear with me. We have a survey at the end. So it's a short survey, so please give us feedback so we can improve. So right now, I'm a lead quantitative researcher at Shopify. You probably ask, what is lead quantitative researcher? So basically, what I do is to understand different players in our ecosystem, which means merchants, some of you might be also merchants, developers, that's you, and the market in a quantitative way, and then use that learning to support product decision. Have any of you ever received an email from Shopify asking you for answer survey to evaluate? Yeah, that's me. Thank you for answering that. Thank you very much. So how our merchants use app today? So almost all successful merchants use app today, built by developers. What do I mean by almost all? It's 3 in 4 merchants today use an app. And on average, there are 6 apps installed per merchant. Those are general average. If you look at those merchants that actually earning money with GMV, the number of apps is even higher. And this amazing community is still growing thanks to all of you. So from 2020 to 2021, the Shopify partner revenue grew by 45%. As this ecosystem is growing, it also poses some of the challenges for merchants to pick and choose the right app. So that's one of the pain points we hear from merchants. They don't know how to decide which app they should choose from. And at the same time, it also poses challenges, like if there could be some app category, there's just no app for it, but partners, developers don't know that exists. And there could be an app category, already have apps, but there could be some small merchant segment, like merchant from GMV 50,000 to 100,000, they can't find the right apps for them. So there's the market. In other words, the market is not as efficient as we want. So an amazing ecosystem would be for developers like you. You build some solution for merchants, you will find an audience. And we also always have new opportunity for newcomers to the ecosystem. And for merchants, if they go to our app store, they will easily find what they need. So that's an ideal world, and we are working on that. How to tackle this problem? So first, we need to look at, we did a research recently to understand what are the decision drivers behind merchants' mind when they go and decide which app they install. So that's first step. The second step is to look at what are the category. There are still not enough apps and still has merchant need not fulfilled. So let's look at the first one. What's behind their purchasing behavior decision? We did a survey. It's about more than 5,000 merchants in US, Canada, and EU5. This is the result from US and Canada, so North American merchants. And this is the ordered list. So the higher on the list means it's more important. under the app decision. So the top two in green, you can see it's table stake. That's very straightforward. It has to work, not glitchy, and it has to solve the problem. And then it needs to be easy to use, like easy to download, know how to use it. If not, there's a video or tutorial can teach them how to use it. And then followed by, it needs to be affordable. So we'll talk about that, more about that later, but affordable is a word that varies a lot for different type merchant. A merchant with zero GMV versus a merchant that have $50,000 per year earning. So their definition of affordable is different. And it needs to be fast for their buyers, and it needs to be fast when they use the app in their admin. And also, it needs to be follow the security. It has to have privacy and security. It's also concerned. So how many of you think North American merchant rate this higher than European merchant? If you think for privacy and security, raise your hand if you think US merchant think this is more important than EU merchants. Okay, so how many of you think EU merchant think this is more important? Okay, I would expect that, but it's the opposite. US merchant rated higher. It's not so I heard a lot from my peer researchers from Facebook, because they did that a lot too. They found the same thing. So they actually dig into the reason. It actually has to do with merchants' trust in the government. So in EU, they think the government are doing their work. So when they choose app, they were just like, fine, I think it's fine. So they probably have less concern. Versus US, there's all the news around, So it becomes more important for them. They want to check it before they download the app. So, and the last tier, it's also all of those are important, just relative. So it has to work on mobile. Many merchants, they did set up their store using laptop, but they manage their store using mobile. So it has to work well on their mobile device. And when something is wrong, when they have questions, they want to be able to find support. They want someone to answer the question. They want to read the review before they install the app. And what they are looking for in the review is the information, at least on the top, like if it works. They specifically mention they want to look for other stores that are similar to them, even in their geolocation, that work for other stores, and they feel more confident to install that apps. Today, still have many merchants, they have trial and error. So the discovery journey kind of long. So hopefully we can shorten the journey by providing the information they need for their app decision. So now let's look at some of the opportunities. First, merchandising is a global need opportunity. So what do I mean by merchandising? So merchandising apps are those apps that after a customer come to the store, those apps can help merchants sell. So it includes anything from product variation, how can you provide more different color, customize the product, to product pricing, can you combine, have bundle discount, to product display that's like AR, VR. So if you can show the product in 3D mode. If you go, especially after pandemic, if you go look for a house, usually they have a 360 video tour, right? That helps a lot to bridge the experience between online and offline shopping. So those are the things merchants are looking for to help them sell more. How do we know this is an opportunity? Because merchandising app this is the fastest growing search word year over year in our app store. And it's not just search the most, most of them lead to an install, actual app install. But just by the first 2 points, you still cannot be sure that this is a good need, because there could be already very good app for that, so there's no room for newcomers. We also look at the market concentration. So this is a market there are still a lot of room for newcomers. You can find opportunity. It's not concentrated on several like super big apps like marketing. There are some big apps for email marketing. So there's still room for you to come in this category. These are some of the examples from that category. So additional purchase, this is basically a way to upsell. If you can recommend, if they buy something, you recommend, oh, you probably will be interested in something else. It's similar. Or customer like you also are interested in this. So those upsell opportunity and pricing is like a bundle, give them a discount. And like gifting is also one of those, like if you can send out gift cards. And AR, VR, I already talked about that, like display the product. So now let's zoom in to North America. Those are the top search keywords from North American merchants in our App Store. So you can see many of those upsell, discounting, product option, subscription, that's a type of pricing. They are all dropped into that category of merchandising, which is once customer get into their store, how to help them sell more. Except SEO is like forever topic. Just every year when we do research, it pop up there. It's marketing. What are the top merchant challenges? Like what they find most challenging about the App Store experience, the business, and overall about Shopify. So one of the top challenges they tell us about Shopify App Store is about the cost. It's a sensitive topic, but merchants just like us, they want to buy something that's they think it's reasonably priced. But you have to know reasonably priced doesn't mean it's cheap, or there won't be luxury product. But if you think about pricing, it's fascinating. The mental model behind it is just fascinating and complex. Because if you think about the pricing elasticity, I don't know how to pronounce it, that word, too hard, but you know what I mean. Just how price can change. So for example, if you want to buy a burger, right, it's low visibility, basically fulfill some function, you're hungry about a burger, you probably pay $20 for a burger. But they can tell you the meat is high quality from Japan. And they play music to the animal. The animal's very happy. So they raise the price to $30. Okay, fine, you'll buy it. If they raise the price to $200, they will just go bankrupt, right? No one gonna buy that burger. So that's the category that was very low visibility, but it's very functional. People are very careful about what value they get from it. And versus the other type, you can pay $100, from $100 to $10,000 for a handbag. It can be a designer handbag. That's related to an identity. To show your identity. It's highly visible. So that has more room for you to change the price. In terms of our app, unfortunately, it's closer to hamburger. So you don't have that much room. But merchants are willing to pay. This is a quote from a Seattle merchant that's from clothing industry. Basically, the merchant use many different apps. It's like a medium to large merchants. They have multiple stores already. So the email marketing app is the most expensive among the apps they pay for, but they are very happy with it. The reason is they directly told us 30% of the sales is from the email they send out. So that's when they can see the value. They are willing to pay. They are totally happy with it. Versus some other apps, they can't directly see the value. Even it's cheaper, they don't know why they are paying for it. So what does it tell us is if you develop an app, you need to think about three things. One, who are the merchant you are targeting? Are you targeting a small merchant just started, or you are targeting a plus merchant? Second, what value you provide. I know we all think we provide value, but you have to pay attention to the third one is, do you actually communicate that value to the merchants? When we look at the correlation between merchant think this app has value to what app they use actually in our database. It's fascinating that when they use the app like marketing, upsell, merchandising, this type of apps, they think it's more valuable, disregard the price. If they use apps that help them like have pop-up, mega menu, those apps that help them set up the store, it's an area, it's harder to evaluate how much they're gonna worth. Because we are not very good at estimating the value of our time. It saves us 2 hours, how much that worth, so they don't know. But if you give you 100 sales, you will think it's valuable. So that's just the way the mental works. So it's important for you to make sure they understand the value, so they are willing to pay. And then as the merchant's business grow, it's getting more difficult for them to make decisions on their business. If you only have 10 customers, it's very easy for you to keep the customer relationship and also make a decision. But if you have 10,000 customers, you need data. You need better report. You need better tools to help them understand their business and their customers and help them make business decisions. We compare the perception between merchants that are smaller, like less than 50,000 per year GMV, to merchant that more than 50,000 GMV per year. The merchant who have higher GMV are rated much more challenging to make business decision and keep a relationship with their customer. So that will be an opportunity for a larger merchant. They are also more willing to pay. Business expansion. We all already go through some of those example. Merchandising basically is one that help this category. As I mentioned, this category is the category of apps that merchant can see the value, they perceive as more valuable and more add-on based on the Shopify plan. The apps in this category involves like those help them sell more, and those help them increase the customer lifetime value and increase the loyalty. The last one is about theme. So merchants want to customize their theme that represent their brand. At first, we have debate about what does it mean by customization. It's really just about the look and feel, aesthetic part, or it's about more of the function and feature. So we actually have a follow-up research. Just ask merchant, what do you want to customize? Is that feature or just look and feel? 60% of them say look and feel. So what they really want is, I want to change the font. I want to change the color. It's not as fancy as adding a ton of code. But for many merchants, especially when they are small, they have zero like coding background. Changing the line of HTML and CSS is very daunting for them. Some of them are forced to learn it to be able to customize their store because they can't afford to hire a developer customize for them, and the current one is not as easy as they want, so they learn a little bit. So if you can make it easy for them, they will really appreciate it. And then based on that, they also want it would be great if it can perform very fast. That's like on top of that. So fast across different devices. So when you build a thing, it differs a lot for a merchant that's a retailer to a merchant that sells digital goods. So for the merchant who sells digital goods, like if you think about a trainer who sells training session, the type of thing will be very different from someone sell the physical goods. So with a target in mind when you build that template. So how can you find opportunities yourself? Because you can't get access to the database and you can't send out big survey like we did. Like that costs a lot, right? So how do you find opportunities yourself? You don't need to do that. The key, like my job, is to understand merchants, their frustration, their needs. You are in the same boat. You need to find merchants' frustration and needs. You don't have to send out survey. You can just by talking to merchants around you. We talked to a merchant, or we talked to a developer in UK. He basically told us he found opportunity by visiting his daughter's store. His daughter opened a store that sell in UK. They sell the no waste grocery store. Basically, they don't provide you any container. If you want to buy rice, you need to bring your own container. So he saw a very long line just to wait those container. So he built an app that you can just scan your container, upload all the data about different container. You can register your container, and then people don't have to line up to scale your container. They just scan. The system will automatically subtract the weight of the container. So that's not an app that used by like 1 million merchants, but that's very popular just in that very niche community. So this is a great example of knowing where is opportunity and know the market, because you have to know if you build that. This is your audience. You can't expect you use this app to go public. It's just not public company. That's not possible. Another thing you can do is to look out what Shopify is to release next year, or what Shopify has been doing recently. For example, Shopify announced the collaboration with YouTube earlier this year, which basically means Shopify is after those content creator. And those content creator, they might have different needs than many of those sellers with retail store. So things like that usually means there's a door open for you to fill that market. Yeah, thank you for coming. I think that's all for my content.